Hey, Dr. Vincent of Persia here with Tier 1 Physical Therapy, and it's an absolutely gorgeous day and perfect for skiing with the kids. So that's where we are today. And watching these guys, I realized how having a strong posterior chain can make all the difference. Let's take a closer look at that. Hi, Dr. of Persia here with Tier 1 Physical Therapy. So today I wanted to go over some basics about the posterior chain, what it is, and how you can wake those muscles up. So first off, what is the posterior chain? The posterior chain is referring to a group of muscles in the back of your body that push you forward. So it's extremely important to be strong in these muscles for daily activities like squatting and bending and climbing stairs, but also for sport. So let's go over some of the basics. Okay, so let's talk about some of the muscles that make up the posterior chain. Starting with the ground up towards the head. The first muscle in our group is going to be the calf muscle. The calf muscle pushes your foot down, and that's the same muscle that pushes you forward with walking or jumping or running. The next muscle up is going to be the hamstring. The one after that is the glute. The glutes attach to the ilium over here and make their way down to the femur, which is the thigh bone. And then the connective tissue and big muscles along here called the paraspinals. Then you move up north, and between your shoulder blades come the trapezius and the rhomboid muscles. They're the ones that squeeze your shoulder blades back. And the muscles along the side, which are the latissimus muscles. And the latissimus muscles are pretty important because they tie the arm into the rib cage and the thorax, helping stabilize you as a whole. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the basic movements that you could do today that help wake up the posterior chain. One of my favorites is going to be the deadlift, and to be honest, it probably requires a whole video in itself because it's a hard movement to learn. But once you get it, it's kind of the foundation for all their exercises. So let's start with taking a dowel or a stick, and we're going to line it across your back, just like this. So you're going to line up the tailbone up to the head, and you're going to stand right behind a chair. You're going to first make sure your head and your tailbone is straight as you could possibly keep them. Your body, your pelvis is going to be close to the chair. And what you're going to do is slightly bend your knees and stick your bottom back, moving it away from the chair. And then bring it back towards the chair and then move it away from the chair. What this is doing is teaching you to move at your hips. So in the physical therapy world, we call this hip hinging. And what it does, it takes a strain off your back and it promotes really good hip movement and strength throughout the hip girdle. So next up is going to be the same exercise, but more on one leg with a gallon of water, which is roughly about 8 pounds. So you want a little bit of weight, but in the beginning you may want to do it just for your balance with no weight or a lighter weight. So you're going to slightly bend your knees, and for this demonstration we're going to have the weight in our right hand. So this could be a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or a gallon of water. And what you're going to do is put one leg back, slightly bend the knee, hinge at the hip, and you'll notice the weight is moving towards the arch of my other foot, my left foot. I'm going to bring my other leg back and the weight will come back to neutral. My right leg goes back. I'm hinging at my hip. My back is as straight as I can keep it, and I'm lifting myself back up again. And what you're doing is training and strengthening a group of muscles, again called the posterior chain, from the calf all the way up to the hamstring, the glute, the back, and on this side with the upper trapezius and middle trapezius because of the weight. And of course you would switch sides. So this exercise can be done 5 to 10 times, and you may want to repeat it a couple of times. But the number one thing you want to remember is not to let your back round. So back has to be straight. You're going to hinge through the hip and come right back up to neutral. Okay, so this last one is a mat exercise. It's called a hip thrust or a bridge. So what you're going to do is lie flat on your back. Before you lift up like a bridge, you're going to keep your feet together, separate your knees a little bit. Having a band that goes around the knees works fantastically here. So I like to have the palms up so you really can feel the shoulder blades being pressed down. Slightly tuck your chin. I don't use a pillow with this, but you might want to. You're going to lift your hips up, really thrusting your hips to the ceiling. And the goal is not to round your back. Keep your back as straight as you can. So from your hip to your shoulder, you should have one straight line. And then when you lower, you maintain that straight line so that your sacrum or your tailbone, that area touches first. So I have a little bit of a curvature in my back. I'm trying to keep that and maintain a neutral. So I'm not flattening my back before I lift. I'm keeping that as I go up as high as I can. Squeeze at the top for 2 to 4 seconds. And then lowers nice and easy. And we're going to repeat this 10 to 20 times. And as you get stronger, you can build up to 3 times 10. Thanks so much for checking out this short video on the posterior chain. I hope it makes a little bit more sense, the muscle groups and why they're so important for everyday activities, up to someone who's a little bit more athletic. These are extremely important muscle groups. Starting with the basics is the way to go. If you have any questions about them or the progression of these exercises, please let us know at tier1dpt.com. You could fill out one of the forms. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Hope you guys have a great day and cheers to your health.